All right, we are recording. And so good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to see all of your faces here this evening. Some of you are maybe new or just getting familiar with what our schedule is in the Dreamers in Action team. And so first, I just want to say that our team training is always every Tuesday night. And it's always at the same time. So it's 7:30 Mountain, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 East Coast, 8:30 Central. So whatever your time zone is, it's always the same time. So my best tip for you is to put it in your calendar and set an alarm on your phone. So just as an example, on my phone, I have a reoccurring alarm that goes off every single Tuesday. I'm Central Time Zone, so it goes off at 8:20. And that gives me 10 minutes to just regroup and get my computer fired up or my phone or whatever I need to do. So it's a great tip for you. Training is really, really important. Who would agree? Show of hands. Yeah, and so I always say people who show up, go up. So kudos to all of you for being here tonight. I promise you, if you get on all of our training calls on Tuesdays, you'll go up, right? It's free training. Why would you not show up? So excited to see you all. Who am I going to see in San Antonio? I see my roommate. Woohoo, lots of hands. I love it. That'll be the next Show Up, Go Up event for all of you outside of our team training. So that's awesome. I want to jump right in and get started with our training this evening. And it is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce to you our trainers tonight, which is Jen and Adam Feichter. So some of you probably know Jen and Adam. They've done lots of team training with us before, but just in case you guys are new or just really aren't that familiar with them, they got started with Isagenix in March of 2015. I actually got them started. It was one of my more challenging enrollments, but they did fall in love with the products, both of them. And by late May, beginning of June of 2015, Jen really caught the vision of Isagenix and the opportunity that existed here. And she ran. Like when I say she ran like her life depended upon it. And she hit Crystal Executive in 5.5 weeks. And there was no stopping her. You know, we encouraged her to get to Celebration that year in 2015, and she went by herself. She sat very quietly, but she had a huge aha moment that this was the opportunity for her. I sat right next to her the whole time, and I could cry. All she kept saying was, I wish Adam was here. I wish Adam was here. So guess where Adam went after that? He went to NYKO 2016, and that forever changed their business. They became not only husband and wife, but amazing business partners. They are hands down our best leaders on this team in terms of recruiting, enrolling, training their teams. It is an absolute honor and privilege to call them my friends, but also to have them training for us tonight. They are training on the power of three-way calls and how to utilize them to build your business and to increase your enrollment. So fantastic topic. It's one I think a lot of us in the beginning really struggle with how to do it. So I am super thrilled to have you guys here. They are 1-star Crystal Executives, 2-star Golden Circle. They are climbing like crazy. So you guys get your pen, get your paper, zoom right in on them, pay attention, because they are absolutely going to share some incredible wisdom with you all tonight. And you guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you get started. Thank you so much for doing this evening for all of us.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
We love you.
You're amazing.
Yeah, amazing mentor. We're so happy that you got us started with this. So everyone, welcome. I'm Jen, and if we've never met, hope to meet next week. And we're super excited. We could share about this topic for like 2 hours. So when we were trying to figure out what to talk about specifically, we just tried to narrow down the most important things to just kind of put it in a 20-minute summary for you. So if you're a little bit lost or need to figure out what we said again, just go back to the recording afterwards and you can watch it. If we have time at the end for questions, feel free to ask. So just take notes and the things that you want to say.
Hey guys, just real quick, make sure, it looks like almost all of you are muted. Just make sure either your phone or your computer is muted.
Thanks. Okay, so first of all, we'll start with the basic, like what is a three-way call? Obviously, it's yourself, the prospect, whoever you are trying to get more information for, and an expert of some type. So that's pretty much the basics of it. A lot of you are going to say, well, I don't know how to do a three-way call. I'm not a business major. I mean, I wasn't either. I was a teacher. I had no clue how to do a three-way call. And I thought Laura was joking when she said, you can merge me in. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And I remember being at the beach and like on family vacation and my heart was pounding out of my chest. Like, I don't know how to push a button. Like, it was ridiculous, but it was actually really easy. So I'm not going to explain all that now, but you actually have, especially if you have an iPhone, it says add call merge. So what I can tell you is Lauren's best advice, what she always says, Google. So Google iPhone, how to three-way call, or Samsung, how to three-way call. That's how you're going to figure out how to do it. And then practice it. Don't be on like the phone with the expert and then figuring out how to do it then. Practice in advance. Call your mom, call your grandma, call your husband, call your house line, whatever it is, just practice at it. I love Sherry and Laura were together a couple weeks ago and they were practicing seeing how many people they could get on the phone, and they were calling our house phone and Adam's phone and my phone. And it was fun. So you could actually do more than a three-way call. So definitely do that beforehand. The purpose of it is really to leverage an expert to learn how it's done. So, you may not really understand what you're saying or know anything about the nutritional facts or anything like that. You're just leveraging an expert until you learn how it's done. So you're going to learn how to close, right? You're going to learn how to overcome objections, maybe what things they're saying, what questions they're asking. And while you're on this three-way call, you should not be, texting your friends during it or dealing with anything else. You should be sitting there with a paper and a notebook and taking notes like crazy, because we don't want to enable you that every single time you have to do a call for the rest of your life that you're just going to get us on a call and we're going to do the work for you. Like, you have to learn how to do it, and you're only going to learn how to do it if you listen to it several times. And then you have those awkward calls that maybe go terrible. And I've had plenty of them. We all have. I'm sure Laura feels the same way. Anyone on this call has. So you just want to learn how to do it though, and take notes on how to do it. So why is it really important to do it? You're going to see what questions are asked, right? You're going to hear that. You're going to overcome the objections. And you're also going to build credibility. I think that's really important for your prospects to be able to hear why, why you're bringing this to them, why isogenics is something they really want to get started with. So, so now someone's interested, now what? Now what do? You try to figure out who you want to put them on the phone with. So if it's someone that wants to lose 200 pounds, you're probably not going to put them on the phone with me, because I'm not going to be much help, in nutritionally, or I'm not going to have much of a connection with the person on losing that much weight. So try to think about that too. If they have a lot of health concerns, who are you going to get them on the phone with? So you want to try to get them on the phone with someone that has value, build value and importance of their goals. So try to think about that. And then what's the next step, would you say?
I would say if you're going to do a three-way call, make sure that the person that's going to get on that phone call with the expert is a qualified person. And what do I mean by a qualified person? Someone that maybe you've had a good conversation with, that you really piqued their interest, and maybe you've already sent them one of the tools. Maybe you sent them a video. Maybe you already had a conversation. Maybe you're brand new and you've never had a phone conversation because the thought of it kind of terrifies you, and you want to leverage somebody else to kind of help you through that process. So the best thing that you can do is set up that phone call. And a lot of it is kind of the way you present yourself. Don't say, hey, would it be okay if maybe I put somebody on the phone with you? No, it's like your posture is going to be everything. You say, hey, this is how we do it. We have a system in place. I would absolutely love to get you on the phone with my friend and business partner. Let's set it up. So, the way you posture yourself, somebody's going to say, hey, yeah, that sounds great. And if you're keeping their interests at the forefront and making it about them and their success, again, and I say this all the time, the best thing you can say to somebody, whether you're new or not, if it's a topic that you don't know, just say, I don't know. But you know what? I have access to dietitians, to nutritionists, to very successful people in this company who could answer that for you. And I would actually like to learn too. So at that point, you're putting it on the person to kind of say, oh, you would be helping me out by getting on this phone call too. So we make sure the person's qualified, that, that also the three-way calls, there's so much more going on than just getting somebody else on the phone. This makes us duplicatable. And the easier that somebody on the other line sees this process, the better chance that they're going to, in the back of their head, say, hey, I think I could do this. Like, I could just tell somebody else to get on the phone with me. I don't need to know everything. And then in the back of their mind, there's something going on saying, hey, I could do this. And that's what we want people to think. So then you're going to try to figure out what expert would be best for this person or this situation. And then send a text message to that person and say, hey, what does your schedule look like over the next couple of days? Would you be able to do a three-way call with somebody that I had a pretty good conversation with?
But we don't want to say three-way call, though. That's really important, right? Because you're not going to be like, hey, you want to have a three-way with my friend? Like, it's going to sound like creepy and weird, and people are going to, unless they're a weirdo, they might, you might
attract a whole different type of people.
Yeah,
So don't make it weird. Just say, hey, would you be able to hop on the phone with my friend who can answer these questions? So start the message. And what I tell people is, hey, do a three-way text message with me and this person. Introduce us by text message. And I say, hey, I'm going to take over. I'll take over once you introduce us. And then we'll set up the call where there's a time that all three of us can jump on the phone. So you're piquing somebody's interest. You're passing them on to the expert. And then depending on how that conversation goes, you're going to plug them, and this is what we've been doing pretty well lately, our team, is plug them into our private Facebook groups where they can see what's going on. You tag them in those groups. You welcome them to the group, and then they get to see what we do on a daily basis. Okay, and then the call's set up. So this is where I think most new people have the biggest breakdown. So you call the expert right at the time that you're supposed to do the call. You give a brief background to that person, and then you call the prospect. So let's say all three of us are on the phone. You introduce them briefly, but don't stop the conversation. So I had a three-way call today with Lauren and another guy that I've had two conversations with. So hey, Lauren, this is Rafael. Rafael, this is Lauren. Now, what most people, the wrong thing that you do is you stop right there, and then those two start having an awkward, hey, how are you? No, you go right into the edifying process, because this builds credibility. So, hey, Lauren, this is Rafael. Rafael, this is Lauren. Rafael, this is Lauren Sims. She's our team leader. She is a nutritionist. She worked for one of the top functional medical facilities in the Denver area. She's one of the top earners in our company, highly successful, super knowledgeable, my personal mentor in this company, one of our mentors and our team leader. Lauren, this is Rafael, and give a little bit of background on him. So what you're doing is you're edifying that person right away. You're building credibility, making them the expert, and then the most important thing is you want to put your phone on mute. You don't want to be interjecting at this point. So you're basically out of the conversation and you're listening, taking notes, and kind of absorbing it. Because if you interject and say, oh, hey, what about this? Oh, you might have missed this. You're cutting down that person's credibility and them being the expert now, and you're creating confusion.
And one thing I can say to add to that too, a lot of times as leaders, just like you, your time is so valuable, but you have a lot of people reaching out to you at once for questions, for three-way calls, for cleanse coaching, whatever it is. And we try to set up half-hour blocks. So if you call your friend Sally and you talk to Sally, at 5 o'clock, and you talk to her till 5:15, 5:20, and then patch us through, we have 10 minutes left. So it's really important to call the expert first. Give a quick summary, this is blah, 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 and then put the person, your friend through, merge them through and introduce. So, if you want to talk to your friend about, I don't know, what can we say? Menopause. Is that a really good one? Sorry, Chris.
Bikinis.
Sorry, Chris. So whatever it is, talk about that beforehand or call her back afterwards. Ask her how it's going. But don't talk about that before you get us on the phone because you're only going to have us for a really short time then.
And then another thing I just heard is kind of create that urgency too when you're on the phone. Say, hey, this is a big deal. We have Lauren Sims on the phone. This is huge. I know, Lauren, you are super busy. So that creates that, oh, this person's really busy. That means they have a lot going on. Let's make it short and sweet to the point. We use our expert. We leverage them. And then and Lauren actually made it funny. She's like, actually, I got nothing going on today. And I love talking to you. But she was the one that said that, and that was fine. But create that urgency that, hey, we have something big on the phone. This is serious. And that will help increase the chances of this person getting on the phone. Letting them know how important this conversation is. What's next?
So then you mute, right?
Yeah, that was it. So
right.
Yeah, so again, you pique somebody's interest, you pass them to the expert, and then we plug them into the groups. So the expert, basically you put your phone on mute, and the expert's job is to ask questions, build a rapport with this person, and actually close this transaction. And are they gonna enroll? Maybe not. If they don't, then that's the job of the expert to say, hey, what other information do you need? What other questions do you have? Are you ready to commit to this today? It sounds like you're ready. And they're like, well, I have all these other questions. All right, well, what specifically can I send you? And then when can we follow up? And always set the next appointment knowing that you're going to send this person the information that they're looking for.
Right. So three-way calls are super powerful, right? It takes the pressure off of you. And then that's how you're able to earn while you learn, right? Because you're not going to know what you're doing. I had no clue. I called Laura and was like, I don't know, some girl said blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, I just did the three-way call like she said, and Laura got a president's pack. I mean, yes, I got the credit for it, but she totally did that. I had no clue. I'm thinking this girl's, in her young 20s. She's buying a president's pack. Is she crazy? Because in my head at the time, I didn't see the value for it. And if I would have got that girl on the phone, I would have probably sold her a box of shakes, like Uno. I would have, there's no way I was going to sell her anything else because I didn't have the belief in those products that I hadn't used because we started off slowly, So Laura was able to do that for me and get that girl into a pack that I thought was crazy at the time. But now I would sell to any single person because I believe in, the quality of the vitamins and everything else that comes in it. So know that. That's where you have, your leaders having the belief and you're borrowing their belief to say it for you because maybe you don't even know about it.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you've been doing this a week or you've been doing this for 3 years and you're not enrolling maybe 1 to 2 people a week. You need to have more conversations, but go back and say, hey, let me start with doing some three-way calls. Like all of us on this tonight, I know Laura and Lauren and everybody that's a leader, we're open to that because that's huge in duplicating yourselves. So I know when Chris Marshall got started, we were in celebration together, and I think we did like 2 or 3 right in a row, and he learned. And at that point, he made the decision that, hey, I can do this. But at some point, you are going to have some awkward conversations in the beginning, and that's okay. But learn what you're supposed to say, and then just do it.
Yeah, and there's times that you may have someone, that you've never had a conversation with. I remember someone on our team, I think it was Laura Hanrahan, said, I have a teenager. Like she, took tons of notes, was doing all her calls herself. She was fine. Then she was like, I have a teenager that wants to know. I'm like, I didn't even know. I was like, let's call Laura because I don't know what do teenagers do. And I remember, I was, already successful with the business for a while. I'd gotten a team together, but I had no clue. So of course we used someone else for that. And then guess what? We both, Laura and I, took notes on what Lori had to say, and we learned. And then I didn't ask for help with that again, But don't feel like you can't even have someone pop on just for a story. There are so many times people, well, maybe just want validation. Like Krista Radovic, she's been doing this forever. She's amazing on three-way calls. Once in a while, she may just be like, I need validation that this actually works. Can you hop on and share your story about energy? And then you pop on, share your story about energy, and you get off. She knows how to close. She knows how to do those things. But she might need to be able to borrow someone else's story to show that, yes, she's never cleansed herself, but here's her friend who does cleanse and has had success with the energy. So borrow people's stories too. You don't maybe need to do the whole call from beginning to end if you feel like you've been doing it a while or you already know how to close that person. So
and plus this call, the call that I had today, I had already had 2 great conversations with this guy. But the idea behind getting Lauren on the phone was this, it kind of gave it some social proof. Like, hey, there's a third person that's coming into this that's very successful in this. And I want you to talk to this person just to, ask those more in-depth questions and kind of take the pressure off me a little bit. And, he was able to get a little bit deeper with Lauren than I got with him. And that goes a long way. So maybe even if, you have been doing it a while and you've had 2 conversations, because we know the average person might take 6 to 11 conversations, throw in a third person, somebody who can just say, hey, this works and this is working for me. It's like, all right, that's another validation that this actually works from somebody else other than you.
So using it as validation, we don't want to create mentor dependency either, right? So if Lauren ever kicked me out and said, go do some on your own, like I'm telling you to this day still, 18 months into it, 19 months in, like I would still be like, okay, because, I was scared to death. And sometimes I still have butterflies, but you have to do it. And if it's been a while since I did it, it takes even more, it's like, okay, you just gotta build up the energy to do it. Like that's normal. You're going to have butterflies sometimes. So, we want to create independency, not dependency. So another thing you need to know too is that you can use a 3-way call for enrolling, like we're talking about. But remember, use it later on. If someone else is really struggling with cleansing, I still will reach out to Lauren, to whoever, and ask for advice too, because sometimes they just need that third-party validation that they're not the only person who had a headache before, right? Or they're not the only person with, diarrhea before, right? We don't want to talk about that, but maybe they want to hear that Lori's had diarrhea multiple times, Just kidding. So you have to think about these things, and you want to make sure that you're not just using it for that. Or even if business success, someone will say, well, how is it that you, left your job teaching and now you're able to do that? So maybe I'll pop on the phone real fast and just share my story. So I always look at it like, I was a teacher for a little over 10 years. So I think about it when I was in college, like you're on this call right now, right? You're learning about the 3-way calls. And then, I went from being in college class learning about it to, maybe observing in the field a little bit, right? And then I started student teaching and I was teaching. It's like almost the same exact thing, but with this. So you're just going to ease your way in and listen to other people too until you can decide to do it for yourself. But it doesn't even mean that when I was a teacher, I wasn't, I didn't have other questions or reach out to, our team leader or my principal for help. Like you're going to still do that, but you will be able to do it most of the time by yourself because it's your business.
And this also, to me, goes back to that entrepreneur mindset. Everybody on this call is an entrepreneur. And a lot of people that we're talking to are employee minded. And if you have that presence of, hey, this is what we do. We have a system. This is how it works. And we know where we're going. People are going to be open to that. And they're going to say, oh, well, this person's taking charge. So the idea is to act like you are sitting on $1 million business, because in your mind, that's where you're going. And if you come at people and say, hey, I'm going to get you on the phone with my team leader because I think you are asking some great questions. I don't necessarily know all the answers, but I would love to hear those answers. And I think you're very serious. So let's get you on the phone with somebody who knows a little bit more than me. And let's get all your answers, all your questions answered so that you have every single thing you need to know to make an educated decision. And I think people are going to, they're going to respond really well to that. Like, oh, wow, they're going out of their way to make me feel special and get my questions answered. That means a lot. You get a lot of thank yous from those 3-way calls. People appreciate that time.
Totally. Yeah. So, Laura, anything specific you think we didn't answer, or if not to, or if you want us to touch on something, let us know. Or if someone has specific questions, please feel free after Laura talks if you want to unmute and ask questions.
I think you guys did an amazing, amazing job. And I kind of tried to highlight some of your bullet points over in the
Thank you.
The chat section, just in case people were not keeping your pace. But I think, the key points are, number one, don't make it weird, right? Number two, try to match people up with like people that they will genuinely connect with, because this is network marketing, right? And it's all about our network and who we connect with who, and it's about relationships. So, if you don't have a weight loss story, but you're talking to someone who wants to create one, like Jen said, get them on the phone with somebody who has a weight loss story to share. They'll connect. It'll validate everything that you're saying. So I think you guys really hit upon it. And I think from a three-way call perspective, I was a late bloomer. I could not get past. Some of it was my ego, but I felt like I knew enough that I could just enroll people. I didn't need somebody else. And the piece that I was missing is I probably could. I knew enough that I probably could enroll people, but every single person I enrolled never referred, never caught the business vision, because they didn't know what I knew, right? They didn't know what I knew, so they couldn't duplicate what I was doing. And to this day, 3 years later, and forever and ever, I will always do three-way calls, because it shows other people they don't have to know everything I know, right? There's somebody else out there who will help them. And I think that is the biggest part. Every millionaire in this company does three-way calls every single day. Do they need to? Probably not from a knowledge perspective, but they want their business to duplicate over and over and over again. And that's why Jen and Adam have created so many consultants, right? Because everything they do, they make sure the people they enroll can duplicate it. So the three-way call is just a really fantastic way to do it. You guys are awesome. And I think we should just go to Q&A. If anyone has questions, this is an awesome time to just unmute yourself and ask away.
Okay, Kristen, I see her internet's bad, so she's going to type in her question.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so my biggest challenge is three-way calls, and I don't know why. Like, I have no idea why, and it's super frustrating. So I'll be totally honest. Every three-way call that I've had with like someone else helping me out has never came through. And like the person never ended up enrolling. And so I don't know. I'm sure it's something I'm doing. Like, I'm not saying it's one of my teammates, so please don't get me wrong. But like, I don't know if it's something that I'm doing. And so because of that, like, I feel like without even thinking about it, I'm a little like apprehensive to do them, because I'm talking like double digits. Like I could show you on paper. I mean, there's like, I don't think one has been successful. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if that has something to do with because I am a dietitian and they're like, well, why did she bring this other person on? Like, is this just to sell me? Like, I don't know. Or maybe it's me. Like, I don't know what you think, or if you have any ideas of why that could be a challenge for me.
Do you think also maybe, I mean, yeah, you might know that all the stuff to say, but maybe they're looking for just a validation of a story. Like, here's my friend Jen, who literally had zero energy and blah, 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 blah. And now, like, maybe you need people just to hop on, even just to share an example, you know what I mean, of like the success they had in matches. I don't know. Laura, do you have any suggestions too?
I think that's an awesome suggestion, because that validates their story. And who just did our CG's sit-ins brother? What was his name? Jason?
Todd.
What?
Todd.
Oh, Todd.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw that training, but
I did.
One of the things that he says to people is, wow, you really remind me of my friend Jen. Mm-hmm. Right? And I would love for you to talk with her. I think you both would have so much in common.
You know what? I think that's good. like, I think it's good what you just said, Laura, and to bring, because, you know, Todd's was great, and then Jen, what you just said as well, because now when I am thinking back on some of these conversations, because it's been a while since I've done them, because I think I've just been apprehensive, even though I didn't want to be apprehensive. I think now I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I should schedule a three-way call because none of them have worked. But I think it's that. I think what it was in the past, you know, this was a while ago, so I was still maybe a little fresh. And so I think some of the three-way calls were more of like trying to like pick a pack and like sort of like closing a deal, but that's not really it. It's more of what you guys both just said. It's more of, hey, like, awesome, let's hop on with my friend Jen. You know, she had experienced the same thing. Just to hear another story and not really hear about what pack should I get and how do I enroll. Like, that's not really what it's about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good advice. So I'm going to start thinking differently and start thinking more like that. So yeah. So
I have two good suggestions on that too. So now you get that person on the phone with Jen, right? You say, gosh, you remind me exactly of my friend Jen. She was exactly how you were, no energy, blah, blah, blah. I would love to connect you. Jen shares her story. And then you say, Jen, what pack did you get started with? Not because Jen's closing the pack, right? Mm-hmm. But because now that's going to help you. She's going to hear the pack that helped her. And Jen, we won't share your pack.
No, please don't.
Share the pack that really helped you.
Half a shake.
That's a story for another call. But, you know, the pack that really did help you, because, I mean, once you got past that, when you took the box out of the closet and actually started using it.
Right.
So, you know, that's another really good way to help you lead into first. Now that person's going to connect with Jen, right? They're going to share a similar story. Jen's going to share what she got started with. And now that person's going, okay, if I want the same result Jen got, I need to do what she did. And then the second piece that I would share with you, just because I can relate to what you're saying about three-way calls, you're leading with your prospects that you are a registered dietitian. You leave nothing left for an expert to hop on the line, right? Because they should say, well, if you're a registered dietitian, you do this for a living, why would you need to talk to somebody else? What are they going to add? Right? So when you're talking to prospects, if you're starting that conversation with your background and your, you know, certifications and all of that jazz, you have nowhere to go. And guess what? They can't duplicate what you do. So when you want them to refer people or build a business, they're not going to. So I'm not saying give up on your background, right? But I would never lead with that. You know, I would share my experience. I'd make sure they get a tool, and I would make sure I get them on a three-way call and use other people to be experts or share a story. I mean, every time I led with, well, I'm a certified health coach and I've got a nutrition background and I've been doing this for blah, blah, blah. Nobody will duplicate what I do because they don't have that, right? But I can get Lauren on the phone or you on the phone or Miranda on the phone if I need that nutritional background and say, hey, my friend is this. I'd love for you to talk with them about that versus me saying, well, I can answer all your questions, because they won't duplicate what I do, but they'll know there's people on the team who can. Does that make sense?
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sure. Thank you guys.
Questions? Any other questions? Anyone else struggling with setting up three-way calls?
I have a quick question. As far as setting up three-way calls, my problem is the introduction of the expert. Is there any way of getting like a little brief, very brief bio of the expert, so when I introduce them, I know I can say exactly like what Adam said when he was introducing Lauren, he he mentioned a whole bunch of her credentials and stuff. Is there any way of getting like a little list of that?
That's a great question, Sherry. I love that you asked that. That was something I actually asked in the beginning too. So yes, so like next time we do one, just be like, Jen, what do I blah, blah, blah. And then I'll just text it to you real quick or like PM you a couple things. You keep it in your little notebook, right? Write it down. And then you know now what to say next time for me. Next time you're doing one with Lori, you know, what do you say, blah, blah, blah. But maybe you're not going to bring up every single time that Jen was a teacher and this, you know what I mean? Like you would use that more if you were saying business stuff, right? And she was a teacher, now she's doing this, but you're not going to bring it up if it's called like, I'm trying to enroll someone for you because they want to lose weight. So then you'll kind of pick and choose through the list what's appropriate for that person. But maybe you're not going to say every single credential.
So also what I've done is I've listened to previous calls where somebody's introduced Lauren or introduced Aaron Hairston, and I would take notes on that previous call. And so I'd have that introduction ready to go. Or I looked at Lauren Sims's LinkedIn profile and got a lot of information from there.
Okay.
Show up.
I usually, when I'm utilizing someone for a three-way call, I usually thank them obviously for being so willing to help me, and then I ask them, like once they agree to do it, I really want to give you a proper introduction. I think this is what Jen was saying. Can you give me 2 or 3 bullet points that would be best to introduce you, that you want me to share about you? And so, you know, it could be if I just want a story shared on weight loss. You know, it could be, can you just tell me when you got started, how much weight or inches you've lost, and the biggest changes you've felt since you got started. And that's how I want to introduce them, because I want their weight loss story. You know what I mean? So I might be like, Sherry, I know you lost, 15 pounds and your energy's through the roof. When did you get started? I want to make sure I introduce you appropriately. Right? So it could just be as simple as that. If it's a business opportunity type call, then you may want some different type of information,
Okay, great. Thank you.
So, hey, sorry I can't get my camera working. This is Laura. When you're in a dry spell, I'll say, and you don't have a lot of prospects, and then you're kind of like out of that forward motion, is there the possibility of jumping on other three-way calls that are going on within the team and capitalizing on those opportunities so you can grab some notes and kind of stay motivated?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are open to it if it's all scheduled out. I know Kristen, I'm looking at Kristen Roderick too, because this is what she says all the time. This is actually a really good question, and something that I even would love to hop on some, I have to be honest. Lori, is there something that like people can just ask in Dreamers? Is anyone doing a three-way call today? I would love to hop on. Is it something like that when people are open a day or have some time that they could just post and people would respond in times? I mean,
who is doing Lauren Sims 5-week training? Yes, I'm telling you, show up, go up, guys. I'm so impressed. The hands are going up for events. You're here on the training. You're getting on the 5-week training. That starts next week. I would strongly recommend that anybody who wants to listen in on some other three-way calls, ask in your small groups, because you guys are going to be training together for the next 5 weeks. So as soon as you get in there, just say, I would really love to listen in on some other calls. As you're setting them up, can I please be included? That's a small group. It'll be intimate for you guys, so you'll really be feeding off of and training and learning from each other. That would be my very best suggestion right now. Kristen, I'm trying to look you up. How many friends do you have on Facebook? Do you know? Kristen Ronovic?
I have no clue.
Okay. So if you are in a position right now where you're working another job, or you have a house full of little boys, or you're super busy, you're going to be building your business predominantly through Facebook. So if you don't have several thousand friends on Facebook, you're not building a business. So if you think that you're running out of leads and prospects, take a look at the number of friends that you have and build your friend list, right? So I'm going to give huge shout out to Chris Marshall. He owns his own business. It's full-time plus, right? And he's building his Isogenics business, and he's doing it predominantly through Facebook. When I had this conversation with him a few months ago, he had about 500 friends, 600 friends. He now has over 2,000, right? And he's seeing now all of these people coming in and commenting and seeing his activity and his action. So if you feel like you're in a dry spell, get some more friends. You have 776 friends, Kristen. And Laura Hanrahan, you have 734. So I would encourage you guys to work diligently to get that friend list up. Get in as many Facebook groups as you can, mom groups, whatever you're into. Get in those groups, make friends, and start connecting through social media. And continue to consistently post on Facebook. It will dramatically change that dry spell for you. I know you're not all in positions to dedicate, 40 hours a week to this and, sit in meetings and go find people on the street. But if you have 700 friends on Facebook, you can easily get to over 2,000, get in groups and, maximize that tool. It'd be huge for you guys. So I would tell you, if you feel that way, utilize your Facebook more. Get on there, post on there, and get some friends. Chris, Chris Marshall has 3,200 friends. How many friends did you have like 5 months ago? 1,200 friends since celebration. Nice work, Chris.
Okay, so quote of the night is from you. Get some friends. Everyone heard that, right? If you don't know what to do, guys, just get some friends, okay? Because that's what we're supposed to do.
Maximize your social media. If you have been posting and sharing with the same 700 people for a year now, guess what? You're dried up, right? You need a new 700 to work with. And if you're friends with all of us, unfriend us and follow us. Okay? We're not always your friends.
You can just unfollow because you want to still keep them as friends. You can maybe just unfollow. Don't unfriend. Oh my goodness.
You follow, you don't friend. You follow,
you
don't friend.
Right, but if you're already friends, I'm not gonna unfriend them, right? Can we just say you can unfollow them, but still say they're friends.
Right.
Please don't unfriend me. I'll cry. I'm very sensitive.
Never. So, all right, that's my dry spell tip. And definitely when you start your 5-week, Laura Hanrahan, are you doing a 5-week training?
Yeah, I think I am. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see your hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got our groups today. So if you guys thought you were in it and you didn't get assigned a group, at least I got mine assigned today. I know Roseanne did. I heard a couple of you say. So if you didn't, make sure to text Lauren or whoever. Yeah, I guess Lauren. Don't text at me. All right.
The other thing too, I guess, if you have any calls or you want to be on a 3-way call, I know it gets hard with the scheduling, but Laura, Kristen, Kisa, you guys are on. If you guys have any calls, reach out to us and say, hey, if you have any calls coming up, let me know and we'll try to work something out. I have a call tomorrow at 7 p.m. If anybody wants to reach out to me, let me know. We can maybe set something up. But it gets awkward when you have to patch somebody in secretly, You can
do it, but yeah. And I know Lauren Sims is always, I think we all agree, she's a great one to listen to because you're like, whoa. Like, you can't even keep up. But it's amazing. You learn a lot. So, I'm sure if you asked, for her 3-way call schedule, she's said multiple times that I used to ask. She would just, out of nowhere be like, I'm coming to call in 5 minutes. Do you want one on? I'm like, okay. I'd be in the middle of the grocery store, but I was listening in. So, if you want to also, if you're used to hearing us or used to hearing someone else, she, I'm sure, would let you on any of her calls as well. Yeah. Everyone's shaking their head. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Anything else really urgent, or is everyone good? We're good? Okay.
You guys are awesome. I'm so proud of you all for being here. And Jen and Adam, you are amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
I think most of you that I see, I'm going to be squeezing in San Antonio very, very soon. So I'm looking forward to all of that. And anyone I won't see, hopefully we'll see really, really soon. There's I see you coming up in Newark. So that would be fantastic. Next place to go. Shauna, you could just run to Newark in March. You'll be so healed, you'll just run there.
She would too.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Jen and Adam, thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Wonderful night.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on.